Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah, it was sunny this morning, Kath, but it's actually quite cool now the sun's gone in. Did some gardening, mowed the lawn. Which, isn't great for the back, let me tell you, but I had to do it, so yeah. Needs must and all that. But I'm alright. I am alright. How are you? I'm looking forward to qualifying. Also, we've got the FA Cup that's kicking off at 3 o'clock. Man United, Man City. I will have that on a second screen. Just, just, yeah, just paying attention to it, just to anger myself here. Well, like I was saying, it was sunny this morning, Juice, but the sun's been going in really, and when the sun goes in, it's actually pretty cold. So, and it's cloudy. It was getting really windy and cloudy. So, I mean, yeah, the weather here isn't top tier. But we'll see. Okay. Just getting the driver tracker up. In case we have any, incidents. Perfect. All right. So, folks, what we saying then? Who's getting pole position? Do you know what? I think it's going to be Charles as well. I'm leaning towards Charles Leclerc. I really am. But I mean, yeah, admittedly, is that copium? I don't know. I will say this, regardless of what you think, he has been the quickest driver in FP1, FP2, FP3. So I think of all races, this is certainly the one. It's certainly the one where he has a pretty good chance. I mean, he would love to win here, wouldn't he? He would love to win around Monaco. It's been a bogey circuit for him. Being from Monaco as well. Monegasque. Is that the correct term? Monegasque? Afternoon, Tom. Mostly drivers live in Monaco. But Charles is from Monaco. Whenever I watch this Formula One intro as well, Lando Norris walks like the Mandalorian. He's got a bit of a what's the word? He Oh God, what's the word? He. No, not swagger. What's the? Joe would know it. Joe uses it every now and again. I can't think what it's called. I'm never good with words. It's like a prancy walk, you know? A mince, yeah. That would be quite apt, Calf. He's a mincer. He just like the Mandalorian. Lando Norris in the intro. Lando Norris walks exactly like the Mandalorian. I'm convinced he is the Mandalorian. Well, track temperature's 48 degrees, so it ain't gonna rain, folks. But I will say this: there was a red flag in the F2. I mean, multiple incidents, so. Exactly, yeah, the Landalorian. Landalorian. So the Formula One on. I've got my chat here. I've got the YouTube analytics there. I've got Sky Go with the football on. Then on this screen I've got the Formula One. Then on this screen I've got my OBS, and I've got two separate sections. One for the track map, one for the times. I've just got it all going on. I'll put it on Discord for you. Ugh. Actually, I'll just put it on Twitter. Screw it. Good afternoon, Red Wolves. How you doing? Charles Leclerc pole position. I'm interested to see where Max. I mean, listen, I said this yesterday, and I'm going to say it again. Absolutely, categorically, nothing can rule out Max Verstappen putting in a worldie and putting it on pole, because he's that good, isn't he? He's that good. So absolutely nothing can suggest to me that isn't possible, because it is possible. Good noon, Red. I feel like I would like to go to the Monaco Grand Prix, even though I don't rate the race very much. I think just to see the cars in that close environment, I think would be interesting. I would like perhaps to go and see it at some point, but. I feel like Lewis is going to get traffic by the time he gets around to start his lap by going out so early. Do you not think? He's going to get loads of traffic. Like his whole lap is going to be getting past slow cars, surely. The same with George. Lando Norris. Hamilton's just coming around the final turn now. He's going to catch the two Alpines and Alonso going up the hill. Charles Leclerc's in no rush to get out. Good noon, Eddie. God, it's a good camera angle, isn't it? It's been a little bit better today, Red. I've managed to get out. I did some gardening, mowed the lawn, which wasn't great for the back, admittedly, but, you know, needed to be done. So it is definitely getting better now. It's more manageable. It's not causing me as much grief. It's just a bit twingy in certain situations, but it's not causing me problems when I'm walking now like it was the other day. So it's 100% better. Thank you for asking. I think this is a bit of a continual issue for me. I've had back problems for a while now, and I think a lot of it stems from posture, but it kind of flares up every now and again. It is just something that flares up. Wasn't a great first sector for Lewis. There's a lot of people there, isn't there? The grandstands are certainly full. Verstappen goes purple, sector 1. See, a 12.9 from Lewis isn't great. Because if you think they were doing low 12s, low 11, it is a lot hotter, though. It's a lot hotter than it was yesterday. To see what lap Verstappen does. That'll be, yeah, 12.7 from Verstappen. They were doing low 11s in free practice. So, and Magnussen just did a 12.5. And Hulkenberg just did a 12.4. Quick from the two Haas guys. Charles Leclerc 4 tenths down on the time of Hulkenberg. What? Are they on used tyres or something? Charles Leclerc goes 6th. Nico Hülkenberg for pole. What? Oh, already impeding between Sainz and Albon. Yeah, the mic on the McLaren sounds really weird. Russell now with a purple first sector. Maybe they just need some warm up, which is weird because it's really hot track temps. Yeah, George Russell's 2/10 up on Hülkenberg's time. Verstappen purple sector, first sector now as well. So Russell only goes a 10th and a half quicker than the Haas drivers, but Hamilton goes 3rd. Had a bad last sector. Yeah, you can really hear the ERS on the McLarens. I don't know if they've changed the position of the microphone or something. Verstappen goes 1st. Okay. Track's ramping up. I said that we're going to get into the 110s. I'm not sure we are now. I don't know. Maybe that was a bit bold. They're going to investigate Albon and Sainz after the session. I never understand why. Do it now. What else are you doing? While there's nothing else going on, investigate it. I don't get why they have to do it after the session. Yeah, Newey's meant to be there in respect of the hypercar project, but he's still there in the pits, just doing his thing. Wait, what has he got on the front wing of that? He's got a bit of advertising hoarding on the front wing of Charles Leclerc's car. So why the hell is Charles Leclerc so much off the pace? Has he made contact with that, or has someone else made contact with it and he's just run over it? That's probably the likely scenario. I mean, that's harsh for Albon. I'm just showing a replay. I mean, he's trying his best to keep out of the way. Isn't he? Good lap from Russell there, 11.9. Perez, not a great lap from Perez. Ricardo as well, Bottas, Joe Guanyu, all under investigation for impeding. Hamilton needs a better lap. He's looked so strong here so far, but Hamilton's down there and needs a better lap. Papaya, thank you for the 18 months. You've also got Norris. Yeah, he's probably going to need to get a better lap, and obviously Charles Leclerc as well. Hamilton 2 tenths down on the time of Piastri, which is obviously better, but still not great. It's a better lap, I think, from Hamilton, but still probably not quite good enough. Oh, I say that, but he had a really good final sector and just went behind Piastri. So actually, I take that back. No, Checo hasn't been looking great, has he? Right, Charles Leclerc now. Let's see what he does on this lap. I mean, you've got massive cars on a circuit, 20 cars on this short circuit. It's only just over a minute long. It's going to happen, isn't it? And there has to be an element of forgiveness to the drivers to be like, oh, listen, okay, yes, we don't want people's laps being ruined. But also, it's so hard to get out of the way, isn't it? Hey, Chud, how you doing? Piastri back out on an outlap. Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. Charles Leclerc matching Piastri's time at the minute. It was a good lap time from Piastri, actually. Carlos Sainz moves out the way. Much better lap from Charles Leclerc here. Oh, yellow flag, sector 3. Oh, it's gone. Was that Ricardo? Or was that Sargent? Much better lap there from Charles Leclerc. He gained a lot in the second in the final sector even. They love to show off the partners, don't they? No, Monaco isn't. Magnussen and Hulkenberg just went P2 and P3 out of bloody nowhere. Give me a second. Russell goes P1 on an 11.4. He's just gone out on fresh tyres. We're getting closer to that 10. We are getting closer now as the track builds up. Drivers at risk currently are Norris, Albon, Perez, really. Tsunoda. Norris, Albon, Perez, Tsunoda are the real ones at risk. Decent lap from Albon, though. Oof, brushes the barrier. So close. Verstappen goes P3, interestingly. Sargent goes into 11th. This will pump a lot Albon up there. Yeah, P5. There's a lot of track evolution. They started doing like high 12s. They're already a second quicker. Track evolution is crazy. Ocon goes P10. What about Sergio Perez? I want to see where Perez is at. Perez is barely enough to get out of bottom. Let's see what this lap is from Perez. 14th for Sergio Perez. Hamilton crosses the line. He goes P2. That was 11.5, so that was a good lap from him. I mean, I think the top 5, 6 will probably be safe pretty easily, but track evolution is still very strong. Lando's gone out of the pits now, so he's got 1 lap to get out. They're putting the pressure on him here because any sort of blocking now, and Lando's out. So anyone in Lando's way now ruins his lap. He's done. So that's a big risk. It's a big risk for McLaren. Big old risk. Oh, the traffic! Oy, oy, oy. There's like 4 cars parked at the final corner. What's that? Ocon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Norris. Fernando Alonso, 13th. He's in danger. This isn't good for Lando Norris either. His tyres are getting cold while he's waiting in the final sector. This is not good for Lando. Really not good. He's starting his lap now, but this is one and done. Any yellow, any blocking, and he's ruined. And his tyres definitely wouldn't have been up to temp. But hopefully he's got enough. He's only a 10th up on Sargent's time. The time he needs to get out. He's only a 10th up on that. Sargent's just gone P14. Albon's gone P4. Hamilton and Russell, Charles Leclerc have all pitted. They don't need to go out again. Sainz goes P3. Norris is 3/10 up on the time he needs. I think this lap will be fine for Norris. He'll be okay. Gasly goes P7. This will be enough for Norris. P9. It's fine. Piastri goes P2. Fair play. Now, what about Sergio Perez? Oh my God, P18. Sergio Perez has just qualified behind Logan Sargent. Oh my God. Without an incident, he's just qualified behind the Williams of Logan Sargent in that Red Bull. Oh my God. And do you know what? We saw it coming. We said he's been struggling all weekend around here. He was struggling around Imola. And he's been struggling around here. He hasn't had the pace. Oh my. Oh my God. That is unbelievable. Opinion on the new McLaren livery. I don't mind it, actually. Now it's out on track. I actually don't mind it. It's not like my favorite special livery, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. That is crazy from Sergio. He had 2 laps that didn't get him out. So even if you made a mistake on that final lap, none of his laps were particularly good. What is going on there? What is going on there? That's embarrassing, isn't it? No, it wasn't good from Fernando. You're absolutely right. It wasn't good from Fernando. Do you know what? Do you know what, Tilbo? I actually thought Fernando was in 15th, so I actually thought Fernando had gone through. So you're absolutely right. He actually got knocked out, didn't he? And I was so focused on Sergio Perez that I actually completely ignored the fact that Alonso was also knocked out in P16. I thought he'd gone through. Lance Stroll, P9. Fernando Alonso, P16. Coming off a terrible weekend in Imola for Fernando Alonso, he's been knocked out in Q1 in Monaco now as well. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's really bad, isn't it? So we ended up with Alonso, Sargent, Perez, Bottas, Zhou Guanyu. We expected probably Bottas, Zhou Guanyu. They've been struggling all season, haven't they? But Perez obviously is a surprise, and Alonso's a surprise. Also, again, Albon up in P6. Logan Sargent down in P17. Sargent's time was a 1:12 flat. Albon's was an 11.6. Now, 4-5 tenths. That's kind of what the gap has been quite regularly between Alonso and Sargent, isn't it? So that's pretty... Honestly, that's pretty standard for them. Yeah, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I don't know what's going on with Fernando the last couple of races. He's not been anywhere, has he? Not been anywhere. Yeah, just watching this lap from Perez, it didn't look like the setup or whatever, but Max is making it work. And Max is accepting that there's a bit of a struggle, but he's making it work. I think that if they penalise Alex Albon for that, it's really harsh. He did everything he could to move out of the way. That would be harsh, wouldn't it? Like, he's doing his best to get out of the way. Yeah, it's also a very good point, Daz. They've upgraded the car, and maybe he's just not gelling with the upgrades. Maybe it's changed the balance of the car, and he's just struggling a little bit. So, one Red Bull, Max Verstappen. Verstappen ended up in P7 in that session, but the track was ramping up at the end, so you can't always read too much into that. As we've got 5 less cars on the track, traffic should be a little bit better. Obviously, the final session, if cars get through, that's when they'll have the peak traffic, because there'll be only 10 cars on the track, so... I'm keeping an eye on the football as well, 23 minutes in. Right, Q2 has begun. Cars are out. Red Bull have been struggling around here because their car is so good, but it doesn't like the bumps. And it's kind of a two-factor thing. Max has been struggling because the bumps has been unsettling the car, which is ironic, really, because over the last couple of years, their car's been one of the best rides, been able to take the bumps. But anyway, it's been struggling over the bumps, and other cars have been able to take more curb than the Red Bull. Red Bull can't take as much curb as some of the other cars. Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren can definitely take more curb than the than the Red Bull. So it's kind of a double whammy, really, with the setup of the car. I tell you what, as well, Oscar Piastri. He's been putting in some good times, hasn't he? And he was putting in good times in Imola as well. Let's not forget, he would have been P2 if not for his penalty. I will say this, though. As a rule, so far this season, his race pace hasn't been as good as Norris. But his qualifying pace has been decent. These chopper cams are really good around Monaco, though. It's just the cars look so small. Yeah, Oscar's been doing really, really well. He's been doing really well. He needs slightly better race pace, I think, but... But, yeah. This lad just standing out there. Absolute lad. Obviously, there is a barrier in front of him, but still. Hulkenberg, 111.9. What's that? Ricardo does 112.1. Norris does an 11th. Oh, excuse me. So that's an 11.3 from Norris. We're going to get into the 10s, guys. I said we were going to get a 10.9. Yeah, 11.1 for Verstappen. We're going to get into the 10s. We are going to get into the 10s. Ocon says he's been blocked by someone. Charles Leclerc goes P2 and 11.3. Sonoda. Ooh, Sonoda's been doing well as well. It was a... Oof. There's a slow-moving Alpine that just came right onto the racing line for some reason. Don't know why that Alpine just didn't stay to the right-hand side with Hulkenberg coming through. But, you know. Sonoda was on new tyres. Yeah, that makes sense. Hamilton doesn't look like he's actually on a fast lap. Yeah, it looked like he was on just a quick or a dual warm-up lap. It's just all about getting a clean lap in now, isn't it? Like, for all of these guys, it's about getting clean laps. I tell you what, though, Verstappen is putting in some decent laps as well. He's finding pace. I was going to say 8th fastest, but that's literally 3/10. Yeah. God, it's so close. Verstappen goes P1 with an 11 flat. George Russell goes P9. Like, it's like half a second from first to ninth. Well, Man United have scored. Mm. Good lap from Albon. Even though, but a good lap for him. Still says P11. Max Verstappen is finding pace, guys. He's finding pace, as he always does. We were hoping for a Charles Leclerc pole, but it's not happening at the minute. Max Verstappen's, he's finding some pace. He gets double boost. Max gets double boost. I mean, Alpine, it's weird, isn't it? I think it's because it's on the water. I think the reason the Alpines look good is because they're at the water. They're in their natural habitat. So the boats look good. Hamilton's 2.5 tenths slower than Verstappen in the first sector. Not good. Gonna go through the swimming pool now. Oh, much better middle sector. Much better middle sector. Sainz does an 11 flat. Much better lap from Lewis there. Yeah. Goes P3 and 11.1. That was good. That was a good lap. He was slow in the first section, but it paid off for him in the last. So it might have been tactical. But the times are ramping, so maybe Lewis isn't even safe. I mean, Piastri just puts it 10.7 for Oscar Piastri. There we go. We're into the 10s. George Russell does a 10.9. Oof. Oi, oi, oi. Piastri says he's hit the wall, though. Yeah. I mean, it's an okay lap from Charles Leclerc there. He goes P2, but it wasn't lightning fast, was it? Lando's on a quick lap. It's a good lap from Norris so far. Yeah, Stroll currently... Well, Stroll's in P11, but... Norris goes P1 just quicker, two 100s. Hamilton's had to go out again, I think. Albon goes P8. But I think he might get another lap in, Albon. You can do a cool down lap and go again. Yeah, Danny Rick needs a good lap, doesn't he, down in 15th? Currently, we got Gasly, Stroll, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo in the drop zone. Hmm. Yeah, not a great lap from Lance Stroll so far, is it? I mean, it feels a little bit messy. Because he's actually a 10th down on the time he needs to get through. I don't think Hulkenberg will get another lap in, so I think that's Hulkenberg out. Yeah, Stroll's out. So Stroll's out. Hulkenberg's out. So you got Gasly, Magnussen, and Ricciardo that can make it through now. Max goes P2. Yeah, lock up from Lewis there. I think Lewis was safe with the lap that he had. I don't think anyone behind him is going to improve anyway. He does go a bit quicker, though. Ricciardo, 13th. Gasly goes P5. Man United just scored again. I've got it on. I didn't see. Albon currently in P10. He's going to go through, isn't he? Yeah, Albon's going to go through. So the people knocked out are Ocon, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Stroll, Magnussen. Danny Rick again out qualified by Yuki Tsunoda. Hmm. Yeah, maybe Liam Lawson does need to. Well, Aston Martin brought an upgrade package, and it seems, for all intents and purposes, that it's kind of gone backwards for them. It's just they've really, really struggled. They've really, really struggled to go anywhere. In fact, you could argue that that upgrade package made it a bit more difficult for Alonso. They've been struggling more since they brought it. They had a terrible weekend in Imola and then a terrible weekend so far in Monaco. So yeah, not great from them. Hmm. I mean, listen, if Danny does lose his seat, that's his Formula One career over. I think we can all accept that, right? That's his F1 career done. He'll never be given another seat, I don't think, because this was like his second chance, wasn't it? So that's a given. I don't know what he would do after that, but likewise, you've got Perez struggling a little bit. Again, Perez had a great start to the season, by the way. You know, we were saying Perez needs a good season, and the first 5 races, he couldn't match Max, but no one expects him to. But he was there or thereabouts on the podium, getting points, exactly what Red Bull want, without upsetting Max. The last 2 races, Imola, he was bloody nowhere, was he? And so far, to qualify 18th in that Red Bull at Monaco, that's a joke, isn't it? He didn't have any issues. So yeah, overall he's been struggling. So he's been struggling. Danny Ricks had flashes of pace, but Yuki Tsunoda's been showing that he's the real deal. And to be fair, credit where credit's due. This season, Yuki Tsunoda has stepped it up a gear. He's not been making mistakes. He's been putting in quick laps in qualifying, and he's been performing well in the races. So Danny Rick's been underperforming, but Yuki's been putting in a shift. So yeah, fair play to Yuki. Nah, bullshit. It's bullshit because he had multiple laps that weren't good enough. It wasn't just his final lap. He had multiple laps that weren't good enough. I mean, bloody deluded, isn't he? Like he had 3 laps that weren't good enough, Perez. 3 laps that weren't good enough. The biggest surprise for me is that Charles Leclerc doesn't seem to have the same pace he's had so far this weekend, and it's literally anyone's. Norris, Verstappen, Piastri, or Charles Leclerc, either one of them could get pole position based on when they start their final lap and if they don't make any mistakes. Like, any one of them could get it. There's like a tenth between four of them. Whoever nails their lap, and let's be honest, Max nails his laps more often than others. Whoever nails their laps will, will get it. So, yeah, we'll see. And yeah, I mean, Pierre Gasly, even in the top 10, that's a shock, isn't it? But to get up there in P5 is a surprise. No, I don't think Max will be going out of his way to give Nico Hulkenberg, well, or anyone for that matter, a toe. Well, Hulkenberg isn't even in, is he? He got knocked out. That Williams as well. I said this during Imola, but apparently James Vowles was saying that the Williams car is 15 kilograms, or at least was 15 kilograms overweight. So it's costing them a lot of lap time being overweight. So that Williams would be a lot quicker if it wasn't for their weight issue. We know other cars have had weight problems this season. Alpine being one of them. No, this track doesn't lend itself to getting a toe. You'll just ruin yourself from dirty air in the final sector. It's not a track for a toe. No one would attempt it. But that's not to say that you won't encounter a car on the straight when you're starting your lap or finishing your lap that will give you a toe, but it'll be very, very minimal. It'll be very minimal around here. Here we go. Q3, 10 minutes. Carlos Sainz now doing his lap first. Traffic shouldn't be as much of an issue. Oh, he's bailed. Yeah, he's bailed. It's just a prep. So Hamilton is on new tyres. Plenty of room there through the swimming pool. Like plenty of what's the word? Plenty of margin against the wall, I think, from Lewis. 10.9 from Lewis. A decent lap. Something loose in the pedals. Loose about this hoose. Russell go... Charles Leclerc, 10-4. Oh! A 10.4. A 10.4 for Piastri as well. Carlos Sainz 3/10 down. Norris does a 10.9, just quicker than Hamilton. Oh, baby. Carlos Sainz goes P3. $18.2 from Verstappen first sector. George Russell is currently 3.5 tenths down on Charles Leclerc's time. George Russell goes P4. Half a second down, but it's enough for P4. Verstappen is only 5/100ths. Oh. Maxi boy. Ooh, 1.5 tenths down. P3 for Max. Ooh, spicy. I tell you what, Oscar Piastri could ruin the party here for Charles Leclerc. So could Max Verstappen, but Oscar Piastri has been nipping at the heels of Charles Leclerc, hasn't he? He's been nipping at the heels, just nipping. Norris was on used tyres. So Hamilton was on new tyres, Gasly was on old, Tsunoda was on old, Norris was on old. But everyone else was on new. So Leclerc was on new, Piastri was on new, Verstappen was on new, Sainz new, Russell new, Hamilton new, but Norris, Gasly and Tsunoda were on used. So Norris has still got his new tyres. But Max was on new tyres that run as well. All of the top 5 were on new tyres. Albon's putting in a good lap here as well. What's on the... Is the Duracell... They've got a different branding I've only just noticed on the Williams. They've got the Duracell bunny on the car. I didn't realise they've got the Duracell bunny on the side of the Williams this weekend. Half a second down for Albon currently. Well, there's... Oh, it's not a bunny then. What is it? It's a flying something. What is it for Duracell? It almost looks like a pig. A flying pig, it looks like. I thought it was a bunny, but... Is it Energizer that's the bunny? Duracell has a bunny as well. Yeah, Duracell does have a bunny. There's a flying bunny like this on the side of the Williams car. I mean, they basically just ripped off the Duracell bunny then, surely. There is a Duracell bunny though, right? I'm not going mad, right? Tell me I'm not going mad. Yeah, the Duracell bunny. Yeah, it's a pink bunny on the side of the Williams. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I'm not going completely mad, am I? Yeah, Russell with a good first sector. Hamilton is 2 tenths down on the time of Charles Leclerc, though. I think George Russell has a better lap here. Hamilton goes fourth, but I think George Russell's going to put it closer. Yeah, Russell goes P3. There you go. George Russell outqualifies Hamilton again, despite the fact that Hamilton... Oh, Verstappen says he's hit the wall. Despite the fact that Hamilton's looked way stronger here this weekend, but when it mattered, Russell put in the better lap. Piastri's down on Charles Leclerc's time. Charles Leclerc improved on his time. Can Oscar beat it? I don't think he's going to. He hasn't. So Piastri P2, Carlos Sainz. I think Verstappen's had a slow first sector as well. Carlos Sainz goes P3. Norris P4. Wow. What about Verstappen? No, Verstappen's he's done. Verstappen's done. He hit the wall. Charles Leclerc gets pole. Verstappen's going to start 6th. Well. Yeah, Hamilton again. He's been better than Russell all weekend around here. In terms of speed, and then when it really mattered in Q3, he didn't put in the lap, which has been the story of his qualifying all season for Hamilton, hasn't it? He hasn't been able to put in the lap when it mattered in qualifying, but because he's been quicker than Russell on one lap all weekend, and then when it mattered, he couldn't do it. Russell does have a new front wing, but I don't think that really makes a big difference. There's only one upgraded front wing, and Russell has it and Hamilton doesn't, but I don't think that's... Oh yeah, Max went in too deep into turn 1. Well, Piastri's in the best possible situation now. He's in the best possible situation, Charles Leclerc, for tomorrow. And now it's worth watching because someone else other than Max might win. So Charles Leclerc. There we go. There we go. Well, listen, that was a good qualifying. That was a really good qualifying because genuinely there could have been so many, a number of people that got poles. So really good, really, really good. And I'll be interested now to see the race tomorrow. It might, it might be a bit of a procession, admittedly, but. So, yeah. Well, there we go, guys. Qualifying. If you're watching on YouTube, and I'm going to be honest, there wasn't many of you, thank you very much for watching. I will see you tomorrow for the race. As always, thank you very much. And I'll see you on the flip side. If you're on Twitch, then stay with me because we're going to watch a little bit of the football. I'm going to watch the rest of the FA Cup final. That's my plan.